Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum. Dear all, I am Hassan Zada and today I will discuss descriptive statistics and frequency distribution. It is lecture number 2 of a series of lecture in data analysis in SPSS. In the previous lecture we have done an exercise on data entry in SPSS. In the previous lecture the data entry was on this topic, organizational justice and employee job satisfaction. The research question is, if justice prevail in organization, then employee would be satisfied from their jobs. Here the dependent variable is job satisfaction and independent variable is organizational justice, which is represented by its 4 dimensions. There are 6 questions in the scale of job satisfaction, that is from JS1 to JS6, which make the scale of the job satisfaction. In the scale of distributive justice, there are 5 questions from DJ1 to DJ5. In the procedural justice scale, there are 6 questions from PJ1 to PJ6. The interactive justice variable R scale have 9 questions from IJ1 to IJ9, whereas informational justice scale have 5 questions from INJ1 to INJ5. This is the SPSS file which we have produced in the lecture 1. The name of these are the name of the variable and the variable view. The name and the name means that these are the names of the variables. These variables are divided in 2 categories with respect to measurement scale. It is either 2 of them, the first 2, dummy for organization and dummy for general. These 2 variables are measured on nominal scale, and while the rest of the variables are measured on scale. Scale means that these are on Likert scale. So first of all, it is very important for us from this very beginning that we should know that what is meant by nominal scale and what is meant by Likert scale. These 2 are called categorical variables. These 2 nominal scale are called categorical variables because the dummy for organization has 2 categories. 0 mean private organization. The organization are divided into 2 groups, private organization and government organization. Private organization is represented by 0 and government organization is represented by 1. The 1 and 0 it has no mathematical value. 0 do not mean that it is less than 1, or 1 do not mean that it is greater than 0. 0 only represents the name of private organizations and 1 indicates the name of the government organization. When we look in the data view from the 1 and 0 from the numeric values, we will identify that whether it is government organization or it is a private organization. Here the 1 means that it is a private organization. The person who filled this questionnaire, let's suppose 34th, he was a government employee. The person who filled the 36th questionnaire, he was a private organization, because here the 0 represents that it is filled by a private employee of private organization, and here the 1 means that this questionnaire is filled by employee of government organization. So here the 0 and 1 only represent the name. Therefore, it is known as nominal scale. In nominal scale, the numeric value or assigned to category do not have any mathematical value. It only indicates the name. Like here, 0 indicates the name of private organization, 1 indicates the name of government organization. While the rest of the variables do not have any categories. Therefore, these are known as continuous variables from 3 to 36. These variables have no categories. Therefore, these are known as measured on continuous scale, whereas from JS1, which is the job satisfaction question 1, and all the rest of the questions, there are 5 categories in the job satisfaction, but it is not a nominal scale. The scale here, the scale mean it is Likert scale, which is a ratio scale. Ratio scale mean ratio scale have in ratio scale 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It has numerical value. Here the 2 mean that it is greater than 1. 3 mean that it is greater than 2, and there is equal distance between these values. Therefore, these are a ratio scale, and the Likert scale is also a ratio scale. So we can say that these two are the categorical variable which are nominal, while the rest are on ratio scale. So when we will do descriptive statistics, it will be a bit different for categorical variables, and it will be different for the continuous variable. Let's do the descriptive statistics for the categorical variable. First of all, we will apply it on all of the variables, and then we will understand that why we need to do it separately for the continuous variable and for the categorical variable. So what is actually descriptive statistics? Descriptive statistics are numerical and graphical methods used to summarize and present the data in a meaningful manner. It also helps in identification of the outliers. So if you want to do descriptive statistics, first we will click on Analyze, Descriptive Statistics, and then Descriptives. We will reset this file, and we will bring all these variables to the variable box, all categorical variable as well as continuous variable. We will click on OK. Now these are the results of the descriptive statistics. Descriptive statistics provide the information that provide the mean information of the mean value, maximum value, minimum value, and the number of the cases. Here we have 246 observations. We have collected data from 246 individuals, from 246 employees. Minimum here the dummy for organization is 0 represented by private organization and 1 represented the government employee. So the minimum value was 0 and the maximum was 1. But when we look to the dummy for the gender, here the minimum value is 0 and the maximum is 11, while we expected that the maximum value should be 1 because there was 2 categories. One was male and one was female. Female was represented by 0 and male was represented by 11. It means that there is some error. This is an outlier, and we have identified this outlier from descriptive statistics by application of the descriptive statistics. So first of all, we will identify our error and we will correct it. So this error was in dummy for the gender. So we will identify the dummy for the gender. We will select the whole column and then Control F, and here we will write 11 because the maximum value was 11, and we will find the next. Now this is the error we have done. Sometimes we write 1 and instead of writing 1 we enter 11. So we will make it correct and then we will save it, and again we will run the descriptive statistics, descriptives, and all these variables are here. So we will click on it. OK. Now it is correctly. We expected that the maximum value should be 1 and it is 1. For the age, if we look to the age, the minimum value for the age is 20, but maximum value is 588. So exactly it would be an error. It may be because instead of writing 58, we wrote 588. So first of all we will identify this error and will correct it. In the Excel, in the age column, we will what was the error? The error value was 588. So we will select a column age, Control F, and we will write 588. Find next. Okay, now this is the error, and we will make it correct, because sometime by writing 58 we wrote 88. We will save it. Now again go for the analysis, descriptive statistics, descriptives, and okay. Now again there is another error, 366, because the age of individual cannot be 366. The experience shows that the maximum age here in Pakistan may be 80-90, but not 366. So it is another error. We must rectify it as well. In age, Control F, and write 366. Find next. So this is the error, and we will correct it. 36. Save it and do the analysis again. Descriptive statistics, descriptives, and click on OK. Now the maximum value for the age is 58 and the minimum value is 20. Now it makes sense. So the for education, minimum education is 18, maximum education is minimum education is 10 years, maximum education is 18 years, experience minimum 1 and maximum 32 years. Job satisfaction was measured on a 5 Likert scale. If we look to the in the variable view, job satisfaction values, there were 5 categories in the job satisfaction in the scale of job satisfaction. So when we look to the 6th question of job satisfaction, here there is another error. JS6. The maximum value is here. The maximum value is 6, while we expected that it should be 5 because there were 5 categories. So we will identify this error. This is an outlier. We will rectify it. So JS6. In the JS6 variable, job satisfaction variable 6, Control F, write 6, enter, and it will find the value. This is the value. So this is the maximum. So we will instead of writing 5, by mistakenly we wrote 6 at the time of entry, at the time of entering the data. So we will write 5. So now it is correct. We will save it and we will run the analysis again. Descriptive statistics, descriptives, all the variables are here on this side, and we will click on OK. Now the minimum value is 1, and it is for all variable it is 1, and the total number of respondents were 264. Now there were five categories in the job satisfaction, 7 categories in the procedural justice, yes, and 7 categories for the informational justice, and 5 categories for all of the question of interactive justice. So we have rectified all of the error, all of the outliers. First we identified the outlier in dummy for the organization, dummy for genders, and in the age, and one outlier was there in the job satisfaction question 6. Now how we will explain it? So here when we look to we will explain the minimum value, maximum value, mean, and standard deviation. But for the categorical variable, the mean value and the standard deviation do not make sense. 0.5 do not mean here, 0 mean private organization, and 1 mean government organization. 0.5 do not have any meaning because there was nothing in the middle of private and public organization. So once when we identify the outliers and we correct it, then we will, for the categorical variable, we need only minimum and maximum value. So how we will do the analysis for the categorical variable? For the categorical variable, we will do a descriptive statistics, descriptives, and here in the option, these were the two categorical variable. Bring it to the variable box. In the option exclude the standard deviation and mean. We only need minimum and maximum value. Click OK, and now these are the value. This is the minimum value. This is the maximum value for the categorical variable. While for the rest of the variable which are on the continuous scale, we can do it like this. Select all these variable, bring into the variable box, and by default mean, standard deviation, minimum and maximum are marked. Okay, now these are the results. And the thesis are in the formation of your document, research document, you will write it like this. The minimum age of the individual was 6 who filled the questionnaire, while the maximum age was 58, and the average age who filled the questionnaire was 32 years. The minimum education who filled your questionnaire was 10, and the maximum education was 18 years. Therefore, the minimum experience was 1 who filled your questionnaire, and the maximum experience was 32. Just like these are the responses. The minimum value of these variable were 1, and the maximum variable were for the job satisfaction 5, and for the rest of the variable were 7, except the informational justice, which is measured on a 5 scale, so the maximum value is 5. These were the mean value, for the respondent. That the average individual, the experience of the employee who filled your questionnaire was, on average, it was 6 years, and most of the people were on fourth scale. Here the four mean agreed. So most of the individual were satisfied from the job. Here the 5 mean very satisfied, strongly satisfied, 4 mean satisfied, 3 mean neutral, 1 mean disagree, and 5 mean strongly agree. So these were most of the individual were on the ratio on a scale of 4. 4 mean they were satisfied from their job. So these are the descriptive statistics. Secondly, we will do the frequency distribution. Frequency distribution for all of the variable analyzed. Descriptive statistics, click on frequency and bring all the variable in the variable box. Continuous and categorical variable. Click on OK, and these are the results. The first table, this is the first table. The first table shows the valid value and missing value for all of the variable which you have entered in the frequency box. So these represent all of the variable. So it means that there is no missing value, and valid value is 264, and we expected that we have left no missing value in our SPSS sheet while entered the data, and there were 264 entries. So we expected the valid values 264 and no missing value, 0 missing value. Now this is the frequencies. Frequencies mean out of 264 total responses, 132 responses were taken from the private organization and 132 were taken from the government employees. and 132 represent 50 out of 264. So 50% were private employees and 50% were government employees, and in total make 100%. So out of 100%, 50 were private and 50 were government. If we look to the frequency distribution of the gender total, we have collected the data from 264 individual. Out of 264, 211 were male respondent and 53 were female. The 53 was 20.1% out of 264. 53 represent 21% out of 264, and 211 represent 79.9%, and it may 100%. While the age, there were 20 individuals, there were 3 individuals whose age were 20. We have collected the data for total 264 individual. The age of the one individual was 50, the age of one individual was 57, the age of one individual was 56, while two out of 264 were in the age of 55. Just like 29 individuals who filled your questionnaire, their age was 29. 25 individuals were having age of 29. Exactly, the interpretation is same for all of the other questions. Job satisfaction. If we look to the job satisfaction question 1, here we have collected the data from 264 individuals, and in 264 individual, 11 were, and on the point of view of their point of view was strongly disagree. They were strongly disagree with question number 1 of job satisfaction. They were strongly dissatisfied. 25 were disagree. 15 were on a neutral scale. 140 were agree, and 73 were disagree. And it made the total observation of 264. So 4% were disagree, 9.5% were disagree, 5.7 were neutral, 53% were agree, 27% were strongly disagree. So it made total 100%. So these are the step-by-step approach of descriptive statistics and frequency distribution. Thank you very much.